Hi, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com and welcome to my video. In this video, I am going to be discussing what it means when the same tarot card keeps coming up for you in readings. So have you ever noticed how every once in a while you'll get the same card again and again, and maybe you're doing readings for other people or you're just doing readings for yourself, but you'll notice that the same card will keep showing up in different readings. And you've probably wondered, what does it mean? Is it trying to tell you something? So I find I kind of go through phases where this will happen. So a few years ago, I went through a phase where I was always getting the Four of Swords. So I was getting this card. And it was always coming up for me in readings. And it was weird because to me, the Four of Swords is about rest, inaction, meditation, going within. And I was already doing a lot of that in my life. And so it didn't really make sense. But yet there this card was again and again in all my readings. So I kind of refer to these cards as encore cards. So they're cards that, do a repeat performance. They show up in many different readings. And my theory is that whenever a card keeps showing up again and again and again, it indicates that there's a message that is trying to reach you, whether that's a message from your spirit guides, from your higher self, from the universe, but you're meant to get this message. And the fact that this card keeps showing up means that maybe you haven't properly heard the message or understood the message. So I have a 3-step process for decoding these kinds of cards that show up again and again. So step 1 is to be open to the card meaning something slightly different than the book meaning. So sometimes, like what I said with the Four of Swords, the Four of Swords was coming up for me all the time, and the book meaning of that card didn't really make sense to me. So just let that go. Just forget about what the traditional tarot meaning is for that card, and really pay attention to what is going on the card. Pay attention to how you feel when you look at the card. So what is your physical kind of body reaction when you see this card? And what symbols do you notice on that card? What is your attention drawn to? And what do those symbols mean to you personally? So not necessarily what do those symbols mean if you Google them or look them up in a symbol book, but what do you associate those symbols with? What do they mean to you? Pay attention to the colors on the card. Really spend some time with the card and be open to the card meaning something a little bit different or trying to tell you something different than what you may already think that card means. Step 2 is look at the card and ask yourself, does this card suggest any particular action? If it does, do that action and then see what happens. So let me explain this a little bit better. So let's say you get, let's say you get the Four of Swords like me. Let's say this is your card that keeps showing up. This card, the action that it suggests is meditation or rest. So, meditate and see what happens. Now, maybe if you get the Hermit, this could indicate, going for a long walk in solitude by yourself. The Hanged Man, maybe hang upside down, stand on your head, something like that. Strength could be about spending time with animals or spending time with your cat. The Fool, he's about to jump off a cliff, maybe don't do that one. 10 of Swords could be suggesting you get acupuncture. So not all cards are going to suggest a clear action, but if your card does, see what happens if you go out and do that action. So see if you get some kind of message, or if something, if you get clarity from doing that action. Now, step 3, if those two things haven't brought you the answers you're looking for, if you still haven't figured out what this card means, close your eyes and ask your spirit guides, your higher self, to show you or tell you the message that this card is trying to tell you. So that didn't make sense. Let me rephrase that. So close your eyes, ask your guides, your higher self, what message are you trying to send me through this card? And then just be open. So let your mind empty out if you can. Be open to any images you get, any feelings, any words that come to you. And if you don't have success doing this exercise, I often don't have success when I try this one, try something like automatic writing. So get a pen and paper and basically do this process, but instead of just sitting there quietly, just start writing and let it be like a stream of consciousness writing. So just write whatever pops into your head and set the timer. So give yourself, 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever, and just write. And then look at your writing and see, is there any messages, is there any answers, is there anything that you can glean from that writing? So those are just a few, 3 different things that you can try. Now, sometimes these repeating cards aren't necessarily desperately trying to give you a message. Sometimes they're just basically there to encourage you, especially if it's a positive card that you keep getting. So a card that I got so many times, so pretty much every time I read with the Angel Therapy Oracle card deck, I get this card that says you are profoundly clairvoyant. And it would happen like every single time I would read with this deck, I would get this card 9 times out of 10. And I actually looked at the card and I was like, oh, is there like glue or is there something sticky on it? Like, why do I keep getting this card? And I couldn't find anything. I think this was just basically my higher self telling me to, don't give up on the clairvoyancy thing. Keep working on your skills, keep developing those skills. Because I don't believe that I'm profoundly clairvoyant. I might be slightly clairvoyant, not profoundly. And so getting this card, I think, was saying like, hey, pay attention to this, appreciate this ability, and don't give up on it. So I think it was just really encouragement. Now, if you keep getting a negative card again and again, it can be scary. I remember years ago, I was getting the Tower like every time I did a reading for myself. And I think a lot of us will assume that this can signify, impending doom that's just waiting around the corner. But I don't think that that's what it means. I think that if you keep getting kind of a scary looking or negative card over and over again, it's really just encouraging you to look at that aspect of your shadow self. So for example, let's say you get the 8 of Swords. Getting this card again and again, and same with like the 10 of Swords or any of those swords cards really, it could be asking you to really take a look at where you're stuck, what's keeping you pinned down, what's keeping you stuck and limited, what's holding you back right now, or what areas of your life feel stuck and stagnant. So if you get a really negative card again and again, it's really just drawing your attention to an aspect of yourself or your life that needs your awareness and your attention. So it's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, so in closing, I want to ask you, what cards have you been getting lately? Is there any cards that just keep showing up for you? What are those cards? And what's your theory? What do you think they mean for you? So thank you so much for watching. You can check out my website, dailytarotgirl.com. I've got all kinds of fun stuff on there. I've got tarot card spreads, tarot exercises, video tutorials, and more. So make sure you check it out. Thanks for watching.